Among all the stories I have had to meet, from ancient tombs to forgotten cities, one caused a special feeling in people. Not even fear, no. Rather, a cold shadow of understatement. Legend of Flight, Santiago 513. This story is whispered by old people on the coast of Brazil, fishermen who live closer to everyone's lane of an old military airfield. They claim that the air was different that day, heavy, like before a thunderstorm, and still as if someone held their breath. It is said that it all began in the year 1989, early in the morning, when the duty dispatcher noticed a strange mark on the radar. Straight, sure that the pilot saw the line with his own eyes, but the frequency did not respond. The identifier was turned off, and the sign itself appeared as if from nowhere, without a connection, without a route, without a previous point. There was just an empty screen, and suddenly it wasn't empty. At first they thought it was a failure, then military equipment. But when the operator magnified the sector, his fingers shook. The mark was old, even too old. Code that had not been used for a long time. A model of an airplane that disappeared from the track a decade ago, but the radar beam showed one thing: it's going to land. Dispatchers tried to contact the crew. 5 minutes, 10, silenced. Only the soft roar of the engines in the distance when the white body of the plane cut through the clouds and gently descended to the lane, as if it was controlled by a man who has flown this route hundreds of times. The landing was perfect, too perfect, as if it had been drawn beforehand, and the unknown pilot just repeated the plan step by step. When the plane stopped, the military did not immediately decide to approach. The metal case looked like it had flown out of the past, clean, almost fresh, but weathered. The numbers did not exist in any modern base. On board were Santiago Airlines, Flight 5113, date of last departure, 1954. But that was only the first strange thing. The doors were closed, no sign of movement inside, no answer to the knock, no steps. Had to be opened. And there, in the heavy darkness of the cabin, the legend becomes like a warning. The passengers sat in their seats, not collapsed to the chairs, not scattered like in a crash. No, neatly strapped in, just in the middle of the chairs, as if you had just heard a landing announcement. Only instead of people, skeletons, buried with remnants of the form, dresses, shirts, like a museum exhibition that someone forgot to explain. But the other one hit much harder. In the cockpit, behind the wheel, sat the crew commander, also blindfolded, also dead for many decades. His right hand was on the control stick, as if he was not just flying but actually landing the plane. He landed it here in 1989. And yet the instruments inside the cabin continued to work. The course was perfect. Fuel would be enough for the last minutes of flight. And the logbook, when it was found, stopped at the date from which the world went forward by 35 years. Not a single record of a malfunction. Don't beg for help. Just the usual routine line. Let's go to the ocean sector. The weather is calm. As if the plane disappeared not in a storm, not in an accident, but just between the pages of time. The military later sealed the entire investigation. It is said that no one was allowed to approach, and even the numbers of the details were rewritten twice, so that nothing could be traced. And the remains found seem to have disappeared as strange as the plane itself. And this is interesting. The locals claim that since that day, in the area of the old runway, sometimes heard the sound of propellers. Quiet, as if coming from some side of the sea. And in those nights, when the fog is particularly low, it seems to see shadows, long, stretched out, like the silhouette of an old plane going to land. Some believe that the flight never returned, that it still continues to fly, stuck between one moment and another, bursting through the invisible seams where time becomes as thin as fog. Others believe that the crew did the impossible, lead people to the end of their journey even after death. And I will only say one thing: the world is much older than it seems, and sometimes it gives us back something that, by all the laws, should no longer exist, not as a gift and not as a threat, rather as a reminder. Time is not the way. It's a maze, and what disappears in one corridor can come out in another. And when you hear in the night the sound of old engine, do not hurry to copy it into the wind. Sometimes the echo of the past looks for a way home.